intro going.
Hey, am I dark? Do I look really dark right now?
Dark as
I feel dark.
personality.
You. Oh, I don't. It might be my eyes.
All right, let's rock the Metallica. 3, 2, 1.
You got to turn it up. I can't hear it. Bill, you there? I can't hear it.
Welcome to the Top Contractor Podcast, the show that highlights the remarkable individuals who are shaping the construction industry and pushing its boundaries with engaging interviews, expert discussions, and real-world stories of success. I'm your host, Bill Reiman, your broker builder, here with my co-host,
Nate Swink. How you doing, Billy?
Good, man. Nasty Nate Swink. Good to have you be on another episode with you, man. Always a good time. We are back with another one before
We are back in black. Once you go black, you never go back.
Oh, jeez. But let's before we get started with this one, you know the routine, Nate. What is this show?
Yes,
all
sir.
about?
So
Back in black.
you're killing me, bro. Oh, I had to chug one of these Jocko fuels before I jumped on here. I'm about to fall asleep.
We don't
All right. So on the TCS podcast, we highlight 3 styles of episodes. Number 1 is construction news, new topics that involve you, the consumer.
What else you got?
God. All right. And number 2 is where we do engaging interviews. And number 3 is where we do a deep dive into a topic. That's what we're doing today, into hiring.
You said that's so boring. Hiring.
You
weren't excited about it. Yeah. We are talking hiring before. So how's life, man? Let's talk a little bit. You getting tired? You know, you got a pregnant wife. I got a pregnant wife. Mine's about to pop any day.
Yeah. So just off air, me and Bill were chatting it up, and I'm like, dude, I am like feel so lazy. I feel tired all the time. I'm sleeping in like an extra hour every day, and I'm like, I can't call myself lazy. I got to blame it on somebody, right? So I'm thinking it must be because my wife is pregnant.
It's true, man. I felt the same way. That it was a weird thing, and we were talking about it, and it's like it was weird. It was like I felt like tired, lazy, like didn't feel like doing anything. Never sleep in, but slept in some days. And we were kind of talking like it's God's way to prep us for the hell that's gonna come, the lack of sleep. He's like, you guys ain't sleeping worth a shit. I'm gonna prep you for it. Get your beauty rest right now, because
all right. Well, if our wives listen to this, I want it to be very clear that it was Bill that called the baby hell, not me.
I didn't call. I'm looking. No, I'm looking.
Hopefully, one of your freaking houses is almost done because you're gonna be sleeping in it for a week.
This is true.
No, man, I have noticed I've been real tired. I don't know if I have low T or what. I'm going to get some blood work done next week because I am like, rah.
Yeah, hit that T clinic, man. You're going to come out of there with no neck.
Yeah, like Joe Rogan?
Yeah, you're going to look like Rogan coming out of it, too. And then our podcast will hit 100 million viewers.
Only if we're stoned the whole time like he is.
That's true. Maybe we should add that element to this, too. Why not? You know, it's
I don't know.
Contractor Podcast. We can do whatever. We're just here to teach you, and you take testosterone and get stoned. So, with that being said, let's talk about some hiring today. Thank you all for listening. Before we get started, though, take the time to like, share, comment, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Appreciate all you guys watching. And then on iTunes, also 5-star reviews go a long way. Takes you 2 seconds to do it. There's a few of you that have done it. I've been checking. Thank you so much for all those. But share this with your friends and family. Nate and I We don't get paid to do this. We're just doing it out of the kindness of our hearts.
Wait a minute. What? We don't get paid?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, the check's in the
I
mail.
was told my check was in the mail.
So was I, Nate. So was I.
No, and we're grateful to even have the opportunity to do this. I don't care if we're getting paid or not. This is a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're having fun doing it. We're having fun kind of teaching you guys. Obviously, Nate and I are running businesses ourselves and learning as as we go and as we run them, and we want to help you guys kind of fast track with your construction businesses as well. So I got a lot coming up for you, but today we are talking hiring, a very important topic, because a lot of people right now, they're saying they're having some trouble hiring. They're saying nobody wants to work, can't find anybody, can't find good labor. How many times have you heard that, Nate?
Man, everybody's got to have some excuse on why they suck.
All right. So if you can't hire, you suck. Podcast is over. Thank you all for listening.
No, really, no, we're going to be constructive, but come on, guys. If you want to get in business, you want to be great in life, in business, whatever, you have to have personal accountability. I was just talking with a contractor the other day. He's like, it's just not as easy as your trade. And I'm like, bro, you're a rough framer. What do you mean my trade is easier than your trade? Like, it's equally as difficult. Like, what do you?
Yeah, you can melt your whole hand off. This guy, he's punching in some framing. What do you mean yours isn't hard?
He did cut his finger off. He's missing. He's
okay,
missing.
Maybe it's hard. What do you do?
But anyway, it's like, don't spend so much time as an owner or in anything thinking, oh, this is so hard. This is so hard. Brian Hess and his team, they just climbed the damn Grand Canyon 25 miles in one day. What do you think happens when you're doing difficult things? And the whole time you're doing them, all you're doing is complaining about how hard it is. Guess what? You don't finish. You quit. You die because it's too hard. So anyway, sidebar, energy's kicking in. Yee-hoo, let's go.
I can tell. Look at that. Look at that motivational speech right there. Call you Ed Milet for a second there.
No.
He's
the GOAT.
Yeah, he is. But no, man, I agree with you. Business is hard. We all have our struggles with it. Obviously, hiring is a huge part of it. I've had struggles hiring too. I mean, and it's just finding new ways to do it too. But you and I talked about this earlier when we talked on the phone. You got to go through, if you're running an Indeed ad or something like that, you're going to have to, it's going to take you some time to find the right person going that route. Now there's other routes too, like you're doing yourself, where you're doing a lot of video. People are starting to take notice. They're starting to see what you're doing. You're getting employees involved and subcontractors and so on. And people are going to be able to see, hey, this guy's pretty fun to work with. He's got a good personality. He knows his stuff. Maybe I'll go shoot him a message and see if he's hiring. So that type of stuff I wanted to get into first with you. Hiring with video and using social media to kind of showcase who you guys are as a company is huge these days too. There's not a lot of contractors doing it. Nate and I did a whole episode on the importance of video. Well, it was in our marketing one. Go check that out. Episode, I don't even know, 5, I think it was, but go check it out. We got great episodes out on this stuff. But, using marketing to hire people and show your culture. The First Form, we're familiar with it. They do a good job with it. I follow their social media. They have fun. They had a video recently where they took Nerf guns and had a whole Nerf war inside the headquarters too, which was pretty cool and funny too. But they're showing their culture. They're showing that's not just serious about just working out and lifting weights and protein. It's building culture and having a good time as a company too, and that's what it's all about. So Nate, you're doing a good job on that. Talk about video a little bit and hiring.
Yeah, we're doing okay. Video hiring.
Jocko fuel, kick in, ignite. There he is. He's back.
Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry, man.
We're having some fun on this one tonight.
Right. So no, hiring with videos. One other thing I wanted to clarify here: this isn't just for employees, right? You can use these strategies to hire subcontractors. You can use these strategies to hire a babysitter for your kid, whatever it is. Okay. So hiring with video. I actually put an ad out, excuse me, a year ago where we did a paid ad. I shot it real fresh on a job site. Hey, if you're looking to, get into this business and you're tired of, and I named like some problems with the industry, right? If you're tired of not being taught by people ahead of you or by your supervisors, and if you're tired of this, whatever it is, and I threw that all on a video, and that hiring ad blew up. So, there's definitely think outside the box when you're doing some of this stuff.
Yeah, you brought that up. I think you were one of the first ones I talked to about doing video for hiring and like doing stuff differently. You're doing video now, just make an ad, do a hiring video, throw it on social media.
And stupid enough, like I don't know why it is. So we've been running like a Indeed ad for like 2 months and have had rough luck with it. Sometimes, with stuff like that, you got to go through a lot of numbers. Mm-hmm. And it just clicked in me. Oh, why don't I do a video ad and post it again? I'm like, geez. So yeah, sometimes even we need to go back to basics.
Yeah, that's why we're doing these podcasts, because it helps us too. And let's go into Indeed a little bit. Speaking of Indeed, I mean, we're talking about Indeed. There's Monster. There's all these other ones out there too. Indeed's the number one hiring site out there. So how can
Indeed's definitely number one.
Oh, by far. But it's like, how can you make your ad stand out from the rest? Like you showed me some stuff on this too, that to do different to kind of make our ad stand out, and also talk about our company culture a little bit and build that into it too. Because I think a lot of people on Indeed, you click through it, it's basic ads. But there was another strategy too that I liked, and at the end of the ad, writing in a cover letter is required for this application. If you don't do a cover letter, your ad or your application will be dismissed, basically thrown out, which was a good strategy because it means they're following directions, they're reading through. We actually did that, and we got a good hire. She actually came in. She was from another local builder. Did research on her whole company, and she also read the ad, had a great cover letter, and had another letter from her past employer saying how great she was as well. So this lady's been amazing. She's our head of warranty now, and she's doing a few other things for us. But talk about that a little bit, Nate, your strategy on the Indeed end of things.
Yeah, so on Indeed, we kind of highlight real quick who we are, what our mission is, what we're doing, core values, and in multiple areas in the ad. It's like, hey, we're looking for high-level individuals who want to. I should have had one pulled up here to read off of, but we're looking for people who take initiative, accept responsibility, all these different things, self-motivated. And in multiple areas in the ad, we put, if you are not this type of person, don't apply, right? We are not for everybody, right? So you put that in multiple areas because you want to attract the right people when you're hiring and recruiting, but you also want to, shy away the wrong people. And by doing that and by saying, we're not for everyone, if you're not up with these standards, if you're not down for the count per se, then don't apply. Don't waste my freaking time. And unfortunately, most people don't read the whole thing, so they still apply and waste our time. But it happens.
And then we have to go through them, and we can tell that they didn't follow directions, and it takes time.
So that's our strategy for Indeed. Another thing on Indeed, you really got to play with the title of your ad. Okay. For ours, it could be structural welder / installer, or it could be welder fabricator, or structural steel erector, or field welder, certified welder. Just play with different names, and you'll notice that after a few months, like certain ones get better traction. And then you can start running that more. don't always just put the same name that everybody else does, because you might rank better organically by using a little more creative name. Also, with Indeed, I don't know what the hell's going on. My freaking nose hair's itching the hell out of me today, dude.
It's been, for those that aren't watching,
Yeah,
on
I'm not on
YouTube,
cocaine or anything because I
he's
keep
sitting there
itching my
picking
nose,
guy's
dude.
been picking his nose this whole entire time. If he's just listening out there, so.
Oh, not picking. I got like I don't know what's going on up there. Anyway, woo.
Subscribe on YouTube, follow, give it a like.
So, what the hell were we talking about here? Go ahead,
Indeed,
Bill.
in your ads, yeah. Well, Indeed, going back to what you said on the Indeed ad, though, it is important, like your description, like you said, coming up with different stuff, but also putting your core values into it too, I think is a huge thing as well. So they know your company core values. There's things you can add into that to make sure they know them, they read them too, because a lot of people are just going to apply and they're going to just shoot for the job. You're still, no matter what, with these ads that we're talking about too, you're still going to have to go through them. You're still going to have to go through interviews. You're still going to have to kind of go through people that you're definitely not going to hire. Ones that show up like they come in and it's like they were on a 5-day bender.
Yep.
Walk in and say, "Hey, I get the job," and they're no personality or whatever. We've been there. Others won't show up at all. They'll call in. They'll say they're going to come to the interview and they don't show up. That wastes your time too. But that's part of Indeed too. That's why going back to the video and showcasing that to where running something where people are constantly seeing what you're doing, your culture and everything, and wanting to apply to work with the culture within your company because they see it. That's where that is better than Indeed, because Indeed, you're still going to kind of have to funnel through some people for sure.
Yeah, definitely on Indeed. Like if you're running free ads on Indeed or you're only putting a couple few $100 behind it, you're not going to get good results. When we run ads for any given position, we're running minimum $500 to $1,500 an ad per month. And, let's say you get 80 to 100 applicants. Out of those 80 or 100, you're going to vet those just by reading resumes, and you'll interview half of them. Out of the 50 that you energy drink burp. Let's go. Out of the 50 that you out of the 50 that you interview, you might hire 2 or 3. Okay? And that's if you're really guarding your culture and you don't want a bunch of crap in your culture and just crap quality. But so let's say you get 3 to 4% is your success rate on Indeed, which it is what it is. That's part of the game.
Yeah. It's going to take time on there, plain and simple. I mean, it's a lot harder than doing the video. And one thing you've always said too in our discussions is that you're constantly putting stuff, so you're constantly hiring, you're constantly promoting yourself to hire, so people will reach out. Because even if you're not hiring and somebody that's good comes along and says, "Yo, I like what you're doing. I love the culture. I love your business. You got any job openings?" That just happened to us. Like we just got the guy from Mason, the guy from First Form, and I met him in the gym, and he kind of got to know him, told him who we are and stuff like that, and he was like, "Hey, you hiring, by the way?" And I was like, "All right, we got to figure out a spot for this dude no matter what. Like, we'll figure it out." And we had a labor at the time, and we ended up hiring him as a labor starting position. There's still many different ways Mason can go, but he's learning. He's learning the business and stuff like that too, and the expectation for him is through the roof. I mean, the kid's awesome. So you just never know, but you're always should be hiring no matter what. That's one thing Nate's always said too. I highly agree with it because you get good people that come along, find a spot for them. There's always make room because you're going to regret it later on if you don't.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you want to treat, and I always say this, you want to treat hiring just like sales, right? You always have a sales funnel. You always have prospects, new clients that you're working on building relationships with them. You should treat recruiting just like that. That's one thing where that's kind of like our weak point right now because I've been working so much in sales and operations and processes in the business where now we need more guys to help perform the work. And it's something that I need to help head up and, get a little more aggressive and get some people in here, make some phone calls. So Yeah, you definitely want to head that up yourself to some level because it is difficult, right? You got to know the nuances, you got to know what that person's good at, what they can do, and it's difficult sometimes for an office admin to kind of run that. So, especially with higher level positions, you have to do it all yourself as an owner.
Well, in business anyway, you're always trying to make moves to figure out how you can advance and hire more. But it's also like on the building side of things, I'm just going to talk about what I just did, as far as like switching real estate offices too. Like, being a broker and all and getting into a different, higher volume office with like high end agents, the number one luxury brand in our area. Well, those people and getting in front of them are going to act like employees and salespeople too as they promote our company too. So that's the long term vision of this, as well as getting people, getting a seat at the table with these people, having the discussions of who I am, the building end of things, and promoting that. And so when they sell a lot or they sell a tear down house, I'm going to be top of mind. So there's different strategies there on the building end or even on the subcontractor ends, which goes into your networking. And also we'll get into that, but that's
Yeah,
another
you wanna
strategy.
you wanna hit into the interview portion, because I got a lot of heavy detail on stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Kick it off.
Yeah, so once it comes down to, right, you find a good prospect, you're sitting down, you're interviewing them, you should have a set process on how you go through that, right? So we have a set questions we ask depending on what position that person's interviewing for. Okay. We also have a little checklist of things that the person doing the interview is watching for. Eye contact. Where are they at with eye contact? Okay. What are they wearing? Um, all these different things, right? Have you asked them this question? Have you made sure to look for this? Okay. And then another thing is ask them a few questions. Whew, I'm getting winded here, all worked up. Ask them a few questions to
Jocko's
get to
hitting
know
hard.
their human needs. Okay. Human needs is like growth, loving connection, contribution. Ask them a few questions to know that. A few that I ask is this, right? What do you love about your current job or any job you've worked? What do you dislike about it? Okay.
Mhm.
What do you love about it? What do you dislike about it? The third question is what's on your bucket list? Okay. So I can know if I'm interviewing Bill and Bill says, hey, I hate that I'm doing the same thing every day. And I hate that nobody gives me any praise or no one encourages me. But I love that I make a lot of money and I get a trophy or whatever. Right. And then I ask Bill, hey, what's on your bucket list? Oh, I want to own a Lamborghini and da da da. Okay, I know significance is now his deal, right? Significance and growth is his deal. He wants to make money, he wants significant items, right? But if Bill says, oh, I hate that my place makes me work on Saturdays because I want to spend time with my kids. Now you're loving connection, you know? So then you know how to sell that vision, sell that dream, and you know what position to put them in to keep them, right? To hire them, to pull them from wherever they are and get them to work for you. So
You always want to.
that's a bomb right there.
That's huge because and especially with going off what you said on the vision of the dream, that should be part of that process as well. Selling that, you talking about the vision and the dream of the company and watching their reaction to it too. I mean, if you don't get a reaction on, I want to be the biggest, like for me, for example, I want to be the largest luxury builder in the state of Florida. If I get, uh, a reaction like that, or
Yeah,
just,
that's cool, bro. Wow,
yeah, nodded
cool.
head, like,
Get the
oh,
hell out of here.
yeah, they're not going to be a part of the vision, which goes into another important thing, which is asking them, are they a leader? Do they see themselves as a leader? What do they see themselves in a leadership role as well? Because with our company, I know Nate's the same way. Is you want to hire leaders, you want people that are going to help build the business. That's what employees are. They're part of our company. They're there to help build this thing. They're there to, if they want to get rich, we're here to get rich together. That's what it should be. It's not just about the boss getting rich with us. It's about everybody getting rich. We're building these big houses. Everybody should be building these big houses eventually with this company. I always tell all my employees that too. You're going to get a house that's like Oprah. You're going to have a house on the water. You're going to have a house on the water, just dealing those things out because we're all going to be rich. So you want to sell that vision and see their reaction to it, and see, you got to feel that they want to be a part of it, plain and simple. And you'll be able to do that in an interview, 100%.
Yep.
So
For sure.
And then let's talk, Nate, go into like the younger generations in construction too. I mean, I know a digital presence is huge to them. Most of the younger generations are on Instagram, they're on Facebook. A lot of the older generations are now too. The younger ones are on TikTok. They're seeing, videos, your videos on TikTok. You relate with them too. So getting the younger generations in construction to see that construction is cool. It's not just an old man's gig or whatever, is so important with hiring. So getting on these social platforms, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And this reminds me of something that Jay said. And Jay is Brian Hess's mentor kind of guy. And Jay said this, I don't know, a year ago or something at one of the get-togethers for the inner circle. We're sitting there, and he gets up in front of everybody, all these contractors, and he says, "Look, I don't think the problem is that the younger generation necessarily is lazy and doesn't want to work. Maybe it's that they don't know what they want to do. They don't know how cool construction can be." And then he looks at all these contractors, there's 60 of us. He looks around the room, right? And he's like, and it's our job to build this online presence to show them this. So that was like, wow, no kidding. That's a cool thought, So again, changing your perspective. Not everybody's lazy. Maybe they just don't know what they want to do, and you got to help show them that it's cool. So
yeah, that is the thing you always hear, though. It's like the younger generation. I actually heard it today. I went to my old high school because my old high school football coach was there, and met up with him. And I haven't seen him in years. But that was one of the comments one of the other guys that I played with said too, because we were talking about construction. He's like, "Oh, the younger generations, like these kids, they're all lazy. They don't want to be in construction." I was like, well, maybe they just don't see that construction's cool. They don't see the perks of it. They don't see how much the opportunity is in it as well. Like, there's more opportunity than ever in the construction industry. There's more money to be made than ever in the construction industry. And these kids aren't seeing it because a lot of the trade schools have been pulled out of the high schools now too. Like when I went to high school, they used to have construction tech. Well, that's no longer in my high school anymore. I was there. I was like, where's the, they used to have it in this one building, and now it's a bunch of wrestling mats. They put the wrestlers in there, I guess. So,
dang wrestlers.
yeah, they took over the construction area. But it's like they need to bring that back. And one person told me that I was sitting there like, oh, they were supposed to, but they couldn't find anybody to teach it too. So, there lies a problem too. Is like,
well, the same grouchy old man who's bitching about it is the same one who probably said, "I don't have time to teach that."
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, come on.
Our generation's got to get into it, but we're so busy, doing the construction that we can't stop and go. I mean, maybe we can. Maybe that's one thing we need to do, Nate, is go back to the high schools and start teaching. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I help teach the Boy Scouts a welding merit badge and do some things. Try to get people, fired up.
Fired up with the welding. Yeah, I mean, that's what we need to do for sure.
No pun intended.
But no, I mean, I think that's one thing. And looking at it, like Nate just said, as we to go through this show, maybe it's something with that we got to contribute more as well too, because the younger generations aren't seeing it. There's a reason that they're not seeing it, and it's up to us to get it out more. And they're all on social media, so there's one huge way to do it right there. Start kind of showcasing what you do more, and doing some badass videos, with welding or home building or luxury homes, and making it look like it's cool to do. I mean, it is. It's a fun time, So right,
probably, Nate? Yeah. I would think anything except drywall. Drywall's pretty boring.
Yeah, and they get covered in the dust, sanding it and stuff like that too. It's it's a
Maybe
rough
unless
one.
you're doing like a bunch of arches, that might look cool.
Not a lot of arches these days though in the houses. A lot more straight lines.
Yeah, more sexy, sleek.
Yeah, modern, sleek.
Modern sleek.
so,
Oh
so
my.
anyway, we gotta do more social media. It's highly recommended. And as far as asking questions too during the interviews, that is a huge thing too. Reach out to Nate and I. Nate's got a whole list of questions. He's got a great document too that he can help you out, send out to as well, and kind of help you and guide you too. And if you want to do a little cheat too, some of you guys are for this, some of you aren't, but you can also use ChatGPT. Ask the platform, what's some really good hiring questions, and it will spit out probably 10 of them for you right then and there, too. That's
Yep.
another strategy as well.
Yeah, and it's not cheating at all. This is technology. You're not utilizing technology, then you're stupid.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. So utilize it. It makes your life easier, makes things go faster. Utilize it. And that's one of the things you can utilize it for as well, too. And then going into offering more personal and professional growth within your company. That's a huge thing as well. Getting your employees involved. Nate and I were talking about this a little bit before, but making your employees feel like they're a part of it. Not just being like, oh yeah, we're hiring you to do this. You have no say in anything. No matter what the position in our company, they're invited to the team meetings. They're involved in the team meetings. They give answers in the team meetings too. I always leave it open to employees to come to me with decisions and I always tell them too, if you can do it better and there's ways that you think, write it down, bring it in, and let's talk about it too, because you're the ones out there doing it. So if you think there's an easier way to do it, let's talk. I'd love to hear it. So it's not my way or the highway with employees too. You got to be able and tell the people you're hiring, going back into hiring, that you're coming here to be a part of this business, a major part of it too. So, and they should be all like, wow, because most of the companies they probably left, they felt like they weren't a part of it.
Yep, for sure.
So, and then also we can talk about like networking, active recruiting too. Like I said, the real estate thing, that's huge with me. That's why I'm leveraging the real estate career, getting around more high performing agents, high dollar agents, big time, ones that are doing 50 million to 200 million a year in sales, getting in front of those people, building relationships with those people too. I'm thinking about doing a separate podcast just for that real estate branch with the realtors to get them some content, because I love podcasting. And that was an idea I came up with. So they have podcast equipment in their office, they told me, and it's just been sitting in the corner for like 5 years. So I'm going to dust those bad
Might be
boys off.
outdated.
It probably is. I'll probably bring my own mic in there, buy my own, but and then just tell them they got to pay for it. But yeah, I'm thinking about doing something like that where I can bring agents in. That gets me a way to communicate with them, talk to them. But that's another thing with you guys too, with hiring too, podcasting. It's a huge thing. You get in front of people, people listen to you. You can talk about who you are, who your company is, bring in employees on the podcast as well. And people get a good feeling for who you are, and it goes a long way as well. So, Nate, what do you got on the kind of the networking and on the recruiting end of hiring?
Yeah, for sure. If you're get involved in trade schools, you as a business owner, you can go talk at a trade school once a month, whatever it is, quarterly. Um, you know, get involved with things at your community, right? I think the best way though is just get on your phone. More people are looking at this than they are at anything else,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're going to get more hits by putting an ad out on this than you would trying to go talk to somebody. But I think you got to have a good mix of all of it, right? Also, the old school tactics work good. Hell, I don't know. Maybe go just show up at one of your competitors' places and wait till his people get off work. Say, hey, baby, I'm hiring. You know who I am? I'm Nate Swinky. Let's go.
Sounds like you've done that before.
I'm not going to confirm or deny.
No, I agree with that, though. I actually had a conversation with somebody, too. If you think you can take, and don't be afraid, if you got competition and you think they got a hell of an employee that you would love to have, don't be afraid to approach them with another offer, too. Like, I have a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. He's a superintendent for one of our competitors, and he sees my content. He actually cuts hair on the side, so he cuts my hair too. But he's a good friend of mine, and he's been with them for about 3 years now. And we, even while he's cutting my hair, we're talking, and I'm like, hey man, if we ever need a superintendent, we got a lot of going on. And he's like, yeah, man, when the price is right, the price is right. He always says that. He's like, so they're paying me this, but you come with an offer, I'm not gonna be saying I'm staying with them. So there's always opportunity there if you by talking to people and even taking people from your competition. Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, LinkedIn's a good spot for that too. That's probably one of the better areas for like higher level positions. Just start following people, chatting up with them. There's certain people that I know within the next couple of years are going to be working directly for us, who right now are either subcontractors or just people that I comment back and forth with on Indeed. And you're planting that seed, and I'm going to just wait until their employer slips up, and then that guy's going to call me, and we're a go, baby, So, yeah.
Well, it's even like Brian Hess has done too, like targeting people at corporate America. A lot of those people in corporate America, there's some really good employees, but they're stuck because there's literally nowhere to climb with corporate America sometimes. So they're kind of in their position, they're capped out, and they're really good employees. They've worked their way up there to a point where they're kind of stuck. Yeah, they're comfortable, they're getting good pay, but if you think they're good, they're worth it, offer them more money. Sell them the dream, the vision, and then bring them with you too. And Brian's done a good job of that. And, because there are a lot of people that are miserable in corporate America and would love to work in an environment like you have, Nate, or I have, that it's fun. It's, we joke around, we have a good time, but it's, let's get our stuff done. Like, we do a good job, and we're building houses, and you're welding, and it's just, you have a good company, plain and simple. You have a good culture. So that's another area to target too, if you can. It's just, don't be afraid to target these areas and reach out to people and talk to them, like Nate just said. And LinkedIn's a huge book of people that you can literally just message to, especially if you pay for the paid platform. You got access to everybody on that too as well. So
Yep. And it tells you who they're working for. It tells you what they're doing. And you don't need to go on and be all crazy, but you could just be like, hey man, that's a beautiful house. Man, you must have did a good job superintending that. They know who you are. It's like, oh, this is Billy B messaging me. And then next thing you know, it's like
Nasty Nate's hitting me up.
Right, hell. So yeah.
What else you got, Nate? Anything else on hiring to wrap this up?
Yeah, a couple things. Be careful when you are hiring. You don't want to. When I hire higher level positions, you don't want to just pay somebody a ton of money and have them come in. You want them to almost be willing to give something up to work for you. And that way there's no anger or anything like that to other employees who've been there grinding a lot, in those higher level positions where it's like, oh, you're just paid this guy. And it kind of gives him a little more humility coming in. It's like, hey, I'm not going to give you the house. You need to come in and earn your stripes. And then I'll get you paid up where you should be at, So there's that. And then also be very, very careful when hiring somebody who's like, oh, I can start tomorrow. There's a reason why he can start tomorrow. So that's probably not a good deal. Hire slow, fire fast. Okay, that's why I'm saying if you're always working that funnel of people you're recruiting, you're always building that relationship. Then before you pull the trigger and they're your employee, you could possibly be working out all the kinks. Maybe they say the wrong thing after you've just been casually going back and forth talking to them for months or whatever, and then they say the wrong thing and you're like, wow, shit, dude, I'm glad I didn't hire that guy. See ya, dude. So take your time, get to know people. You really, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. Hire slow, fire fast. Because, I mean, it is, and one of the important things you did just say was that I just lost my train of thought completely. I need one of those Jocos.
Yeah, man, we're all jacked up. Our wives are about to give birth. It's like,
yeah, that's.
I need a donut or something.
I just completely lost it. You just say I need to eat a donut?
Hell yeah. Chocolate bar, that always gets me in the zone.
My wife made me a nice cake last night for my birthday. So, yeah, it had actually my dad's frosting recipe, which is an old German bakery recipe from the old historic Reiman bakery outside of Chicago.
Oh, sprechen Sie Deutsch? No kidding.
So, very good, very good. Even though we're majority Norwegian. But anyway,
right. I got a couple of things still to add if you don't have anything
go
else.
ahead. Yeah, let's add them in.
Also figure out what your hiring process looks like, your onboarding process. That's something that we're kind of weak with right now. We're working on building that out. A couple small, easy things that you can do that, again, we're working on implementing and building that help differentiate your company. An offer letter, right? Even if you're just hiring a laborer, that totally changes the dynamic and the professionalism of your company when you give someone an offer letter, a formal offer letter, regardless of position, right? Also, some stuff that we're working on implementing when you hire somebody new. What if, you do a handwritten note by their supervisor? Hey, looking forward to having you on the team. Here's some of the things we expect, or here's what I look for. Taking that person out to lunch the first couple weeks that they're there, right? So all these are little things that you can do to kind of inject them into the culture. Another thing I like to do with hiring people, especially higher level positions, as much as I can, I try to have them say their start dates in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I try to see if they can come in a little bit, like a few hours on a Saturday, a couple weeks before, so that they can learn the system, so that when they are starting, they're not like a crutch for us. Like, oh, where's this? What do I do with this? It's like, no, let's review some SOPs. Let's run our system. I'll pay you, of course, whatever. And then when they start full time, it's like, let's rock and roll. I know the system. I know everything. Or you're up to speed as much as you can be, So
yeah, I like the bringing out the lunch or the handwritten letter. All that stuff's a great idea because it's kind of introducing them into the culture too. Even taking them to lunch and kind of getting to know them a little bit more too, one on one. Because obviously, a job interview is different than after the fact when you hire them too. You can get them to open up a little bit more. So solid points for sure tonight. But yeah. You anything else?
No, man, that's it.
Yeah, solid episode as always. Pretty good information. I hope everybody enjoyed this. Obviously, you guys know the routine. Take the time to like, share, comment, subscribe, and it goes a long way. Share it. Please share it with friends and family. Nate and I really appreciate everybody listening.
Right, Nate? Yeah, grateful for everybody. Grateful for everybody commenting, and we're trying to push this thing as much as we can.
Yeah, we got to check the comments. Start doing a little review on the comments. See what they're saying. Even if they're bashing us, we should have fun with that.
I always have fun with bad comments.
The haters.
The haters. That's all right. Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's got to do it. But we appreciate you all. Thanks for listening, and we will see you guys on the next episode.